Welcome to Virtual Gardening 101. This is a place where we dig into the digital soil and reap real results. I'm Jason, your virtual gardener, and I want to give a big shout out to all 161 subscribers. Your support means the world to me. If you're new here, a special welcome to you as well. Today, I am excited to share this feature because it follows up on a previous video I did on the Gungo tree. Join me as I'll be taking you through the harvesting process. Considering I didn't plant any seeds last year as I usually do, I'm incredibly grateful for this moment. Towards the end of last year, my trees didn't look very promising at all. They were blighted and infested with insects. If you've seen my previous feature, you would have heard me make mention of this. If not, I'll attach a link so that you can check it out because it's very informative. Now, how do you know when your gungo peas are ready to harvest? First of all, you need to check or feel the pods. Hard pods indicate that the seeds are mature. Young pods feel soft and they are flat, meaning they are not ready. You need to observe the color. Different varieties will show different coloration when mature. For the green variety I'm showing here, the pods usually turn yellow, and for the darker varieties, there's a lighter color. There's a sound test. When harvesting is delayed, the pods usually dry on the plant. Shaking the pod may reveal a rattling sound, and this indicates that the seeds inside are dry. You gotta be careful when you're removing the pods to prevent them from splitting and scattering the seeds on the ground, which can be a very time-consuming process to retrieve them. You also have to look out for environmental risk. Rainwater or dew can cause the seeds to sprout inside the pods, so you gotta retrieve them as fast as you possibly can. Also have to be mindful that birds will start to feed on it, and that is why you need to harvest it as soon as they are fit. Most times farmers put up scarecrows in their fields because it's a time the process to harvest, and so they need something to keep the birds out until they are able to harvest. My harvesting approach: I typically harvest some of the green pods and allow some of them to dry on the trees. This method actually saved me the trouble of having to separate the pods, the dry one from the green ones later on. Unfortunately, this didn't happen this time around because I waited too long to go in and do the harvesting. Now, leaving them on the tree to dry in the garden enables some of the seeds to be dispersed naturally, which usually sprout on their own after a few showers of rain, and then you'd have trees coming up. While this may work for some gardens, large-scale farming is not required because you need a more organized field. Now, these are some steps that you can use to prevent premature drying and protecting the harvest from birds. You have to monitor the fields regularly as soon as the crop is showing sign of maturity, and you're going to conduct your maturity test as outlined earlier, because if you wait too long to harvest, they'll start to dry and the birds will also come in to feed. If you plan to replant seeds from your current crop, allowing them to dry in the field is fine, but again you have to go in and retrieve them before they start to spoil, or before they start to split open and the seeds start to come out on their own. After shelling or removing the green gungo peas from their pods, your fingers are going to look like this. No need to worry because it doesn't stay in your hands. Before storage, you have to make sure that they are properly dried. It is best to put them, especially the partially dried ones, in the sun for a few days. I normally allow them to remain in the pots, by the way, because some will open when they are exposed to high temperatures, which cuts down on the amount that I have to shell. So how do you go about storing your gungo peas? For the green ones, You can store them in the fridge, in the freezer for a few months, and also in the cooler part of the fridge if you're going to be using them, in the short term. For the dried gungo now, you can store them in an airtight container, also at the bottom of your fridge. I've been doing this for the longest while and I don't have a problem. And depending on how long you have them there, you can also warm them up in the sun before you plant them. No, you don't want to have them in there for years and then you go and plant, because I don't have any information to say that you have them there for 2 years. They'll still be viable where growing is concerned. But for a few months it won't be a problem based on my experience. And it's not very hard for them to cook. There are sometimes you get gungo and you have to boil them for a long period of time. My gungo don't take long to cook. You just need to soak them for a few hours overnight, and even without soaking, it's not a time-consuming process to have them cook. I have never been able to plant and harvest gungo peas in the same year, but I usually harvest them around this time of the year annually. I actually prefer to use the dried peas because you can have them for a longer time. If you saw my previous feature, you would know that I really love to use the dried peas to cook rice and peas. The green ones, however, are excellent for making soups. And I'm going to try to see if I can cook some soup using these. Hopefully, I'll be able to harvest some cocoa to add to it. Speaking of cocoa, I am calling on my Nigerian reactor friends, Cocoa Mama and Black Beauty TV, to confirm whether they refer to this as cocoa yam in Africa. It's amazing how much our cultures share in common, especially regarding grown provisions. The only difference is their names. Let me also hasten to add, when I was growing up, my mother used the green gungo peas on many occasions to cook a stew, just like how you use the red peas and you put in your pig's tail and things like that to spice it up. I don't like pig's tail though. I haven't had stew peas in a long while. I prefer to have it with a little piece of chicken. I remember when I was going to CASE, that's the College of Agriculture, Science and Education, they cook stew peas and they would put chicken in there, and I really enjoyed it. So that's fun memory of going to CASE. Harvesting gungo peas is a rewarding experience, I must tell you. And with the right techniques, you can ensure a quality yield. Whether used fresh or dried, gungo peas remain a versatile and essential ingredient in Caribbean and African cuisine. If you enjoyed this feature, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more gardening insights. Drop a comment if you have any questions or if you like to see more content like this. Thank you.